Today what I want to do is build a counterweight for my Kubota tractor. I have a 95 horsepower Kubota tractor. It's an M9540 with a cab on it. It has a front end loader that's rated for somewhere around 3,000 pounds. The problem I've had is Kubota makes terrific tractors. They're just very light tractors for their horsepower rating. And there's been a couple times, it's a little bit scary, where the back of the tractor has come up off the ground while I've had a significant amount of weight in on the front end loader. I could always buy some wheel weights, or I could buy some fluid to add to the tires. I'd like to be able to keep the tractor as light as possible for trailering the tractor to various locations. So those aren't the best options for me. So I want to be able to add weight when needed and quickly remove it. So what I have in front of me is a 55-gallon barrel drum that's empty. And I also have a hitch set up that came off of a sickle mower. Okay, so I've got my hitch laid out and some extra scrap steel that came with this sickle. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run a weld across here, as well as I'm going to go ahead and weld at the base. And I'm going to cut off the steel. Basically what I'm doing is building a platform. My objective is to put the barrel with the concrete on top of this platform and to then connect the hitch through the barrel. I'm going to run a rod from the hitch into the barrel and then pour my concrete. And I want this base to be a little bit wider than the barrel, just to make it very stable. I have some kids, I have children, and if they're out and about playing, I don't want them to push on the barrel and have this very heavy barrel roll over. I realize that this makes things a little bit top heavy by putting the weight up in the air a little bit, but I also need to get this about 13 inches off the ground so I can attach it to the tractor. So anyway, this is the first step of the project. When I come back, I should have this welded, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the piece of the steel. So far what we've done is just added legs to this, this platform. I went ahead and added a weld on both sides of this right here, as well as I've added a weld to both sides over here. So the next thing I'm going to do is run a piece of steel from here underneath this to here, just to add some added strength and stability. And welded a brace across the bottom. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and weld another piece of steel across, and this will help support the barrel. I went ahead and welded this across the bottom. The next step is I'm going to place the drum on top of the platform I've created and take some measurements. What I'm going to do is run a couple of rods. I'm going to weld from here. I'm going to poke holes in the side of this barrel, and when I pour the concrete, those will become part of the concrete and hold this barrel very firm. Additionally, I'm going to run a rod from here on through the side of the barrel as well. I've got the piece of steel in place going through the barrel, and on the inside of the barrel you can see that I've got the piece of the steel supported by a bungee cord to hold it in place as I weld it. And once I weld it in place, I'll begin the other side. Alright, I've got the other side welded up. Okay, this is what things look like from on the inside of the barrel. What I'm going to do is drop a couple of bolts through these holes, so when I pour the concrete will have something extra to bond to, and hopefully this will give it a little bit of added strength so it won't slide out if the concrete cracks. Hopefully that'll be enough to keep things in place. I went ahead and added some Bondo to each of these areas where I've penetrated the barrel That way when I add the concrete mix, it doesn't leak out. The next step is to go ahead and mix the concrete, so I'm going to go ahead and mix it right now. I've got 4 bags of concrete mix, 60-pound bags of Quikrete. I've thrown it inside the barrel. As you can see, the barrel's probably about 1/4 of the way full, and I have a total of 12 bags, so another 2/3 to go. One other thing I'm going to do is just mix in some old rock and some concrete at the bottom. And I want this at the bottom because I want to maintain the strength of these 2 bars that are sticking out. I want to make sure that there's very good solid concrete surrounding those. As you can see inside the drum, I've added some old rock and some old brick. So this is going to just serve as a filler. A week has gone by since the project started. This was to allow the concrete to dry. As you can see, I was able to get the concrete all the way to the top and even over the top some. I've inserted some PVC pipe into the concrete. This is going to allow me to take a shovel or a rake or any sort of implement I want with me. Anytime I go away from the house, I'm going to want to be able to take something with me. Additionally, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some extra bracing to the bottom of the structure here just to add some strength. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my sander and really going to knock a lot of this rust off, clean this up, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint it. I want to add a hitch to the back of this counterbalance. So what I've done, I've added a plate. It's a 1/4" steel, and I've welded it. And what I'm going to do now is grind off some of this weld, and then go ahead and weld this hitch on the back. Welding is now complete. I'm just going to do a quick walk around the counterbalance just to provide a view of what things look like. Additionally, I went ahead and shortened the PVC pipes a little bit. They were a little bit long, so I just put a level on them and just went ahead and cut them off. The next step is probably the most enjoyable step of the entire project. It always is, and that's painting. So I'm about to get the painting underway, but first thing I'm going to do is put down some newspaper so I don't end up painting my floor.